It's been a while since I've done a video, and since it's the new year, I thought I would start by introducing a new artist as part of my video series, and this one is going to be Electric Light Orchestra. So I'm going to talk about my CD collection in this video, and then I'll do a separate video for my vinyl. So the first album in America anyway was called No Answer. And this is not a remastered version. It's got the Jet Records logo on the disc. And this is what was in the gatefold. Some pictures. I don't have the second ELO album, ELO 2, on a regular jewel-cased CD, but I do have it as part of the ELO album collection, which I'll show at the end. This is the remastered version of On the Third Day. Almost looks like if you saw that movie The Ring, that's what this reminds me of right here. I'm pretty sure that's not where they got the idea, but I find it pretty funny anyway. And then, like with all these remastered CDs, the liner notes have a little essay by Jeff Lynne, pictures of singles, and promotional photographs and things like that. And there's usually some bonus tracks included in these. This is a live album that was originally released, I can't remember where it was originally released, in England maybe, but I know it didn't originally come out in America. And this, I don't believe, is the original cover, but this is the CD that I have. It's The Night the Lights Went On in Long Beach, and it's got 7 songs. The inside of the booklet will not come out easily. As much as I prefer jewel cases, this is actually the cover, I believe, that was on the vinyl right here, and this has got some liner notes. This is the gatefold. Was part of the original album, and then other notes. The El Dorado remaster. And there's a few bonus tracks on this one. And some of these open up. Instead of being like a true booklet, they actually open up almost like a poster. This has got all the lyrics and some pictures. One of my favorite ELO albums, and I think one of their only concept albums. Face the Music remastered version. This one does not open up like a poster, it's a true booklet. And this was the picture that is on the inner sleeve on the vinyl version. And then the very first ELO Greatest Hits compilation, Olé ELO, I believe it was a US only compilation. And there's the songs with the original liner notes by Jeff Lynne. Maybe my favorite ELO album, A New World Record. Again, the remastered version. The double album, Out of the Blue. And I think the first time that they used the spaceship theme in their artwork. And the second appearance of the ELO logo. ELO's Greatest Hits. And there are some duplicate songs from Olé ELO, but we've got additional songs from A New World Record and Out of the Blue. This is not a true booklet, it opens up. With all the song lyrics, and then Jeff Lynne's liner notes. And that's, again, CD with the Jet logo on it. Discovery, or Disco Very, as I think Bev Bevan kind of tongue-in-cheek referred to it. Again, the remastered version. I actually like this one a lot, even though it's got some disco rhythms. It was kind of towards the tail end of the whole disco phenomenon, but it's got enough rock stuff and enough melodic pop that I find it to be an enjoyable album. I don't think it's too overly disco, but other people might think otherwise. And that's what the disc looks like. Just doesn't want to stay in there. And then Time, and the last appearance of the ELO logo for a while. Got a little hype sticker there. Again, this is the remastered version. This is one that opens up rather than being a booklet with the song lyrics. And I know this is a concept album. I guess this would be the second ELO concept album. And it's weird to see Jeff Lynne without a beard, but this is, I believe, the only album artwork where he doesn't have one. Secret Messages, which was originally going to be a double album, but then the record company, I believe, got involved and made Jeff Lynne condense it into a single album, which I know the tracks that were eventually going to make up the second album have been on different box set. I think there was a song called Beatles Forever is the only one that never made it onto a compilation. That one you can find on YouTube. This one is not one of my favorite albums. Not for any particular reason other than I don't find the songs all that, with a few exceptions, but I don't think the songs are as strong as some of his other albums. Speaking of albums that I don't consider to be the best, this one would be up there. Balance of Power. The last album before, I guess they went on hiatus, or Jeff Lynne put ELO on hiatus for a while. This is an actual booklet. And then that's what the disc looks like. And then for a few years, the rest of the 80s actually, Jeff Lynne didn't put anything out. And then in the middle of the 90s, I think it was 96, if I'm not mistaken, this album came out, which I love. I really think this is a top-notch album. There's so many good songs on here. And the melodies and the songs themselves, I think, are really strong. Some of the strongest stuff that Jeff Lynne has put out. This kind of unfolds. Like, I think Moment in Paradise is great. I think In My Own Time is one of his best songs. I love Ordinary Dream, Melting in the Sun, Lonesome Lullaby, I think is great. The next ELO compilation that came out was a double disc set, and this one was called Strange Magic, the Best of Electric Light Orchestra. Came in one of these fat boxes. And pretty much all the essential ELO songs are here. I think Do Ya is the only one that is missing. Well, no, Do Ya is on here. So I guess for the most part it does contain all of their most essential songs. This was actually the first ELO CD that I ever bought. And I was just kind of putting my toe into the water. I knew about ELO, I'd heard all their hits, but I didn't know much beyond that. And so when I got this, I realized just how significant their catalog was quality-wise. This is a more updated single disc Greatest Hits, the very best of Electric Light Orchestra. It's got a lot of great songs on it. I'm not sure when this came out. I believe it was in the 2000s. And then this is called The Best of Electric Light Orchestra. And it is put out by DISKY label. I'm not sure what that is, but it's got some hits, but it's more a rarities compilation. It's got songs like an early version of Showdown called All Over the World, not the All Over the World that was on the Xanadu soundtrack. Manhattan Rumble, An Old England Town Boogie #2, My Woman, which was an early version of Mama Bell, and just some other songs that I am not familiar with. So that's a decent compilation. And then this is Mr. Blue Sky, the very best of ELO, although it's not a greatest hits compilation. What it is Jeff Lynne in the 2000s went in and re-recorded some of his most popular ELO tracks. Kind of gave them a more updated sound, not in a, cheesy kind of way. I think I read an interview where he said that he wanted to use the experience that he's had as a producer over the last 30 years and re-record some of his tracks to see if he couldn't do better. It's okay. The versions are not substantially different. In some ways they are, but it's an enjoyable listen. If you're an ELO fan, I think you'd appreciate kind of picking up the differences on those. And so for reasons unknown, I think just to establish that Jeff Lynne was the really only remaining member and had ownership of ELO, instead of future CDs coming out as under the credit of Electric Light Orchestra, it was Jeff Lynne's ELO. It's the first studio album, Alone in the Universe. I'm a fan of a lot of this. My favorite songs would probably have to be When the Night Comes. It's just a very different sounding. Doesn't sound like ELO much at all. It's kind of an update to the ELO sound, but I really like it. Ain't It a Drag, I think, is really good. So I definitely recommend that one if you haven't heard anything more recent from ELO. This is a double disc live set from Wembley. I just saw Jeff Lynne's ELO this past July in concert, and this set list is pretty faithful to the one that he toured with. The one that I saw in concert, he played almost this exact set list. And sounds great live. He does really faithful reproductions of the classic ELO hits. And the band he's got behind him is great, and the string section and all the backup vocalists are remarkable. I don't know if he's still on tour, but I'm glad I finally got a chance to see him. And then this past fall, this is the most recent ELO, or Jeff Lynne's ELO album, from Out of Nowhere. And it's pretty much what you would expect or want from an ELO album. Kind of the classic ELO sound. And then I had this is the classic album collection, which is all the ELO albums from the first album all the way through Balance of Power. There's a booklet here. It's a pretty extensive booklet, and the liner notes that you would find in the remastered CD are reproduced here in this booklet, along with some photographs from the different periods. And then each of these is a pretty faithful reproduction of the actual vinyl album artwork. This is Electric Light Orchestra ELO 2, which of course was a gatefold. This was on the third day. And the CDs, this is not a gatefold. All the CDs pretty much look the same. They're all the black with the gold writing. They do not reproduce the inner sleeves. There are no inner sleeves. So what you've got is just kind of basically what the original album sleeve looked like. I'm always suspicious when I don't see anything in the middle here. I'm a little suspicious that it's a bootleg copy, but I don't think this is. I think this is just how it is printed. I don't mean to say bootleg, I meant to say counterfeit, but I don't think this is a counterfeit. I think this is the actual real set. Secret messages. And then lastly, of course, Balance of Power. So that is my ELO CD set, and I hope to record one of my vinyl collection ELO. And thanks for watching, and I appreciate any comments in the comment section below.